Hey, hi, hello, I'm Queenofvikings, and today I'm going to be doing, I think I'm on part 4 of answering your paranormal questions. This is also from Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, so we have, I don't feel like it's a lot of questions, but a lot of you basically asked the same questions, so we're gonna kind of jump right into this. So this one says, I'm not sure if you see these comments, but if you do, I'd love to know how you tuned back into the universe to relearn how to use your abilities. I used to be really connected to my own, but I went through a whole mental system shutdown, same, where I disconnected from everything. I've opened myself back up to it and all, and it's helping, but if you could give me some advice, I would really appreciate it. Either way, you're awesome. I love your content. Well, thank you. So, tuning back in. If you don't already know, I have been able to see, maybe I should have started with that. Hold on. I'm clairvoyant and clairaudient. I can see and hear the dead. Alright. When I was younger, that was when I started being able to see. The hearing aspect came to me later in life. Actually, when I asked for this thing to go away. I was in a really bad relationship at the time. I was seeing a lot of really bad things. It wasn't good. None of it was good. So I said bye-bye, and I didn't want the gift anymore, and then suddenly I was given the ability to hear, which was significantly less scary. Now, going back into it, you are starting from ground zero. There's nothing there. You are right there at the bottom. Opening yourself up is a really big part of it, but there is that little bit of fear of seeing something bad again that you really need to get over. That was the biggest thing for me. I was like, I don't want to see all that terrible stuff that I saw, and it was a really hard hump to get over, but it ended up working. Now, to kind of get back in was to start to trust myself again, was to start to trust my intuition again. That is also very hard. Because even to this day, with everything that I've seen and experienced, there are still times where I'm like, did I really feel that? Or like, that, is this real? Like, is this real? And then something happens and I'm like, yes, it is. Yes, it's very real. So learning to trust yourself and your own intuition. If you feel something, follow it. Don't fight that feeling. If you hear something, follow it. Don't fight it. You really need to fully give into these abilities. This is what has worked for me. So the moment if I was like, oh, I feel like I just saw a shadow. Some people would immediately ignore it and then just not want to look at it, and they're like, okay, nope, I didn't see that. Instead, if you want to get these abilities back, you see the shadow figure, you need to face it. Try to feel its vibes. You need to basically pull it out of yourself. That is the best advice I can give to at least start that again. I am shivering. It is freezing in this room. Oh my god. I'm like shaking, shivering. That's weird. Anyway. Oh my god, and I'm actually freezing. It's 23 in here. That's hot. 23 Celsius. That's nuts. Okay. Gonna heat myself up a bit. Alright. Next question. So when are you going to teach us that tune in and out we desire? Tuning in and out. Most of you that have these abilities understand that they are very intense and they come on at the most random times. It is very imperative that if you have these abilities, you learn to tune in and out. It is literally a radio station. Okay? I don't even know how to explain how it just... It's trusting your intuition. I'm trying to find the right words because I don't want to misguide anybody. I know this is a very scary thing for a lot of people to experience, and learning to also tune it out is great. A word of caution when tuning out, don't tune out too permanently, because then you've got to fight again to get to the level you were at previously. That can happen. I would say for me, I guess, like when... It's like I can control how much vibe I'm feeling, and I think a lot of that comes from the empathy portion of it, which is I think another question, but I'm going to touch on it a little bit here. When it comes to empathy, a lot of us have that, right? You need to be able to feel other people's emotions because you feel other spirits' emotions, and I think getting a handle on that empathy aspect was able to make me tune in and out, because it's okay, I guess it's like doors, right? I'm opening my door a little bit to feel other things. I don't feel it as strong, but I can sense that there's something here. Let's open the door. Oh, okay. Let's open it here. We felt it. I guess it's just a lot of visualization, because I literally picture it like a radio station now. Like if I need to tune in and out, I'm shaking. This is crazy. I tune in and out, and I picture like, okay, turn it up, turn it up, turn it up. Before the radio station, I used to picture it like a light switch. So it would go just on and off. Now it's more radio frequency that, you know, I can just like how I picture it is I'm here, and then it's like a sonar almost that goes off, and the sonar signal gets really, really intense, and then I can shrink it back. I feel like I'm repeating myself over and over, but I'm just trying to get the point across, and I know that especially most of my community is neurodivergent as well, that repetition can sometimes make it stick, or I'm gonna say something one way and it's gonna click to everybody else and they're like, oh my god. Final statement. I think controlling the empathy aspect is a really important part in learning to tune in and out. Oh, good example. Here we go. You're in a room and there's a bunch of people. One person is pissed off. You're gonna feel that person's pissed off, right? You can't care about it. You got to be able to completely shut that out entirely. And it seems impossible, but I promise you can do it. I can do it now. I was a huge people pleaser. My empathy was insane. I would feel other people's feelings that weren't even my own. It was a lot, okay? Learning to cut that cord where even if somebody's miserable, you are having a great time. That is the same concept with spirits. You can feel their energy and it's intense, and you can just, and you're good. Doing that, however, requires a lot of also like self-reflection and self-work and learning about boundaries and learning to, it's a lot of brain work, self-help stuff. That is the most sense I've made. I'm moving on. I hope that helped.
Guys, this week Gamersteps has 2 really cool drops. First, we have Queso's Nuclear Bombsicle, which comes to the Gamer Aid line for all you pals who go to the gym and want to get nice and strong like me. Next up, we have the brand new Pixel Cup and Desk Mat right there. And if you get one of those, either one, you get the chance to get a V card that's holographic. So go check it out. Use code Queenofvikings at Gamersteps.
Next one. If a loved one keeps appearing in your dreams, are they trying to communicate with you? In my experience, yes. If a loved one is in your dream, try to talk to them. I know it's very hard to speak in dreams, especially if you can't lucid dream, which is having full control of your dreams. It's a very hard thing. But in my experience, yes. If there's a loved one in your dreams and they keep popping up, I think they're trying to check on you. I was gonna say something else, but I think that ties in with another question later, so I'm gonna pause that story. How do you turn off and on being an empath? Because I find that I feel a lot no matter if it's a person I'm feeling from it or from just observing someone. So that really comes from, like I said earlier, it's a lot of self-work. This is beyond the spiritual. We're now talking about the psyche. For me, at least, it got easier to stop being so... I'm still very empathetic, don't get me wrong. I can just shut it off and on now at will. It's the same concept of if you're in a room and somebody's pissed off and you can tell they're pissed off and they're on top of it purposefully trying to make you understand that they're upset, you gotta be able to block it out, which means you can no longer take responsibility for other people's emotions that you did not cause. Which is a very hard concept for many people, including many people pleasers. Which, I understand the struggle, okay? I dealt with it, I get it. But I will say that that was a really big part in learning my boundaries, learning to say no, really focusing on how I was feeling in a moment, you know. My father actually has the sandbox theory, and I love this theory. It has helped a lot. You have a sandbox, okay? We are visual learners. Give me a second. We are visual people. I did this on stream. We're gonna use my glasses case. All right, and we're gonna use my nasty tissues from stream. Let me clarify that I'm sick and was blowing my nose. This is your sandbox. Okay, do you see how it is empty and happy and content? This is your sandbox. Everything in your life is great. Everything is hunky-dory. You are having a blast. Somebody's upset. That's not your sand. That's not, they're kicking their sand in your box. Fuck off. Oh, they're gonna try again. Harder this time. Nope. My sandbox is fine. Your sandbox, on the other hand, looks like you need a little bit of work there and you gotta work through some stuff. But, oh, suddenly, they can't put it in there. Your sandbox. This took me years to understand, and I pray to whoever, or whoever, that you guys can understand the sandbox theory, because it has helped me quite a bit with being an empath and feeling everybody's feelings when now I could be in a room and everybody is angry, but if I'm having a good time, I'm having a good time, because the only emotions that you can control are your own. All right? It's a big help, I promise. When you're in a cemetery or a graveyard, do you ever feel completely overwhelmed? I used to. There is a story, which I don't know if I've talked about before, but when King and I first started dating, I'm alt, obviously. He thought it'd be really romantic to take me to a cemetery. At this time, he did not know about my ability, and at this time, I did not have control over it. So he told me to close my eyes, and it was dark. And he was guiding my hand through the cemetery, which I didn't know where we were. And I started feeling pressure in my chest. I started feeling something tight around my neck, and I started panicking. I'm like, where are we? Where are we? Where are we? And he's like, okay, you can take off your blindfold now. And he he was so excited to take his alt girlfriend to the cemetery on a date. I took off my blindfold. I was standing on a tombstone and I broke down crying. He was so confused. I was like, I need to leave. I could barely talk anymore. I could barely breathe. I had a very bad anxiety attack. He took me out of the cemetery. We got out. I calmed down, and that's when I had to tell him, I see ghosts. I see dead people. Take this as you will. Please don't leave me. Surprise. He didn't. But that was it was a rough time. Now, I actually just went to Greyfriars in the UK, and I tuned it out for most part, but something was really pulling me towards the back of the graveyard, and that's when I slowly started working to like, okay, you know what, let's open it up, and I, put myself in the state that I needed to, and I was like, okay. And we're in, what's going on? And immediately it was like a pressure in my head, and I was like, all right, something's coming, something's trying to talk to me, what's going on? And I think I've made a video about this on my TikTok where I had to go to the back, and there was just this really upset spirit, like he was mad, and I felt a pressure here, but it was like, it wasn't something sitting on my chest, it was like that, as if something was trying to push me away, but wasn't really pushing me. And it just felt like this guy who couldn't have peace because Greyfriars is a very old cemetery, it's a tourist attraction. He felt like he couldn't have peace because of that, which is in nobody else's control. Like, even if they did close it, people would still sneak in. It's a graveyard, people are gonna do that. The biggest thing was just he wanted to be left alone. That was it. He just wanted to be left alone. And I don't know if it was left alone by other people or left alone by hunters such as myself, or people who have like the paranormal ability to leave them alone. It could have been either or. I didn't stick around much for the conversation. I did go back and just try to be like, are you okay though? Like, are you good? And it's just like, just leave me alone. Like, okay. So to answer your question, I used to be overwhelmed in cemeteries. Not so much anymore now that I can tune in and out and control it. That was a long fucking answer for that. Jesus. How do you know if you can help them pass on? I'm sure there's been times some don't want to leave and feel that they have unfinished business or that they promised they would always be there. There's a two-parter. Second question, how do you tell them it's okay to go the other side and that they believe it? In my experience, a spirit won't move on unless it's ready. They might have unfinished business, they might still be protecting somebody who's living, and that's a choice. Something I will say is that just because they are here doesn't mean they are stuck here. And that is a difficult concept to explain. Again, this is all from my own experience, right? You can take my word however you wish it. In my experience, they can cross over, but they can come back. And it's by choice every time. And they can like swap in and out, right? They can come and go as they please. There are some that are permanently stuck and can never cross over. There are some that have crossed over and continue to come and see us, right? There's this balance. So when it comes to a spirit that, say, if they have unfinished business, they're trying to protect somebody, then that is their choice. At the end of the day, you can't really force a spirit to move on. It's when the spirit is at rest. Secondly, it's convincing them it's okay to go. I don't have much experience in this. I've never really had to be like, it's okay to go, it's okay, it's okay. Like, most of the time I'm like, do you want to go? Okay, go ahead. It's been more that for me. So I don't want to speak on something that I don't have too much experience on. I would think that trying to get them to believe it's okay would be a lot harder, especially if they feel an innate protectiveness, specifically. I'm talking more about a loved one, whereas if we want to talk about, someone who passed a very traumatic death in the 1800s and is now haunting a building, each spirit is a little touchier, right? That's not going to be the same reaction as a loved one will. I don't know if that answered a question or if that posed more, but let me know. How would you know if someone you met was walking with a few angels with them? Fun fact. I, myself, have encountered one angel. It was Archangel Michael. It was during a very rough time of mine where I needed strength. He is an angel of strength. When I was on the cruise with the girls, if you don't know, I have a back tattoo, and it's wings, right? And we were chilling in the hot tub, and there was this older man. His name was Mark, if I remember. And he noticed my wings and he started asking about them. And he said that he was in the army and he had this big story about how when his friends would pass, he remembers seeing a specific angel, and the wings on my back looked exactly like an angel's wings, like the ones that he witnessed himself. And that's when, him and I started talking about the paranormal, and he was a super chill guy. Mark, if you're out there, you were a great dude. So considering that I've only had one encounter and it was in a dream state, I don't know. I've never really looked at somebody and been like, yes, biblical angels everywhere. Eyeballs, so many of them. For me, it's more, I can sense the negative in a person than the positive, unfortunately. Working on that. I recently just had a friend who was really not doing okay and suddenly just dropped in energy. And of course, as an empath, I feel that. And I was trying to kind of like give him a space, and I kept looking over, and I wish I still had the picture, but it was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna draw it, because I gotta explain to you what I saw. So if this was him, okay, so this was our friend, right? And he was sitting around a table, okay? He was sitting around a table, okay? What I was seeing was something kind of like hugging him, and his whole energy was dark. So vaguely like that. And that's a little harder to ignore. So I asked him if he was okay, and he was like, I told him what I saw, because he is familiar with the paranormal and that stuff, and I told him what I saw, and he's like, yeah. And I'm like, are you okay if I cleanse you like when we get back? And he's like, yeah. Never ended up needing to, because the thing fucked off the moment we got home. That is pretty much what I see. I see when people have like really bad, not great stuff attached to them, which again, not always fun. I wish I could see more angels. Angels are pretty. Not every, well, I mean, there are some demons that are very pretty, but anyway, can you explain all this stuff to the uninitiated? Are we expected to do the background education on our own terms from sketchy Tumblr blogs? I don't really know what all this stuff is you want me to explain. You can always watch the paranormal Q&As, and if there's something that catches your eye, you can always respond in the comments, and I try to answer my comments as best as I can. Sketchy Tumblr blogs are definitely a source. Your research is very important, but before you do anything like this, learning to protect yourself and keep yourself safe is the best thing you can do. Cleansing, banishing, warding, your 3 best friends, definitely important key things before you even begin this kind of research. There are tons of books out there, tons of books. I have quite literally a library with 2 shelves and a little bit extra of just books about this. I can make many recommendations. Maybe I'll open an Amazon storefront and just like tell you guys to go there. Could work. Let me know if you want that. How to get rid of bad, harmful spirits. Cleansing, banishing, warding. Bad and harmful spirits, right? If you're feeling it taking effect on you, mundane before magical, always. Take into consideration, sorry, I was checking if I was recording, whoa. Take into consideration if you've been sleeping well, if you have stressors at your jobs, if there's something going on in your life that's causing you anxiety, if you're off your meds, if you're on meds, if, like, there's a bunch of mundane things to consider. I was going to consider taking out the medication part, because it's actually a very heated discussion in the spirit world whether or not meds affect you. Please take your meds. Please take care of yourselves. If you are prescribed medication, please, dear God, take them. Okay. Always make sure that you're mundane. If like things going great and you're like, I don't understand why I'm feeling like this, then I would start considering potentially a spiritual aspect. So mundane before magical, always. Okay? That's like rule number 1. Now, cleansing you can use, I actually talked about this on my passes. I do Witchy Wednesdays where I talk about like different spiritual things, and I focus a lot more on intense topics. I talk for like 2-3 minutes about a subject, and I'm open to people talking. So, you know, if you want to sub to my passes, that'd be pretty cool. Cleansing, you can use sound or smoke. If you have pets, typically I don't recommend using smoke cleansing. So you can use sound. You can use itty bitty bells, little sound bowls. You can even bang pots and pans together. As long as your windows are open, you're telling something to fuck off, you're pretty much good. However, if you didn't know, I'm very chaotic in my practices, so I can recommend maybe if you want to do things more ritualistically, there is definitely a way about that. But me personally, I just bang things together and I'm like, leave my house, and they fuck off, and it works anyway. All right, we have switched to the Instagram now. Okay, how could you start to develop it? Because I've always been interested in the other side and believe in it. I also want to get haunted dolls so I can help them, comfort them if needed. Oh, like Miss A. If you don't know, I have a haunted doll. She's amazing. I do believe that even if you haven't had experiences before, that you can open yourself up to allow that inside. I haven't met anybody that has done that, but just because I haven't met anybody that has not had an experience and then suddenly had a bunch doesn't mean it's not possible, right? There are 8 billion people on the planet. One of them is bound to do that, right? Nobody has a single experience. I would say the biggest things is really to just protect yourself first. Learn how to keep yourself. Shit you not. I just heard like a loud scream in the middle of like me talking. I thought Vanjie was throwing up, because when she throws up, it goes like she goes like, and it's really high. Everything's probably fine. What was I saying? Develop the gifts. Protect yourself, please. It's very important to learn the vibes of different entities. Be aware of mimics. That is my biggest advice to you. Mimics, tricksters, shapeshifters, whatever you want to call them. These are things that can imitate your loved ones. They can imitate other spirits. So really be careful. That is My biggest thing is I would start with protection and then slowly start to open yourself up to trust your intuition, because that's the most important part. So many people don't trust their intuition. I'm using her as an example, but Nobo was so intuitive with this stuff, but she'll always look at me for confirmation. She's like, did you see that thing? I'm like, yes, babe. Yes, you're right. Yes, it's right there. And she's like, okay, I just want to be sure. I'm like, oh my God. You gotta learn to trust that voice inside of you. Do you know what it means if your ghost/spirit keeps turning things upside down? It really likes fucking with you. Spirits are bored, man. What else are they gonna do? Mess around with a person? Of course. How do you know that you're seeing spiritual stuff and not just insane? Because that's what I feel like. Believe me, I feel the same way. And I can explain this, actually, with a recent story. So, as I said before in this, I really do often... Why is my phone bugging so much? Okay, please pause for a second. Whatever is around at the moment, I understand you don't understand this, but I'm actually trying to talk about you guys. So the making me cold, the messing with my phone, the random scream, can we kindly cease this activity? Please and thank you. If you are bored, you may play with the cat. The cat likes to play. Just in case, you never know. So, how you feel not crazy? Recently, a friend of mine was talking to me and was saying that, like, they were very upset lately and they've been having dreams about loved ones and they were wondering what that was about, and they had mentioned that they went to go and see them at some point, and I instantly knew what time of the month they went to go see them at, but it wasn't my own thought. Like, it was just such an intuitive, like, oh yeah, you went to go in, like, during this month to go and see them, and like there was no way for me to know that. And there was one of the people, I'm trying to be as vague as I can here, because I this is someone's personal story. I don't want to share too much information. It's not my story to share. That had their hand on them. And I said, hey, there is someone behind you right now and they have their hand on your shoulder. If that's why you are getting hot right there, that's why. And the person almost broke down into tears. And I tried... You know how I use ChatGPT for spirit stuff, okay? I tried to type in exactly what I was seeing so I could just generate an image to tell the person what I was seeing. And when I found kind of that I got the right response and I got like the right image, I showed them, like, this is who I'm seeing. And they showed me a picture and it was uncanny. Like, it was pretty much the same person. There's no way for me to know that. This person and I, no joke, have had like 6 conversations. So we got really close that night. But it's little stuff like that where I'm like, there's no way for me to know the way this person looks exactly or the times that they went to go and visit. Like, I can't explain that, so it makes sense. And this has happened many times before. There are many things that I can't explain that suddenly I knew or I was aware of, or I'm like, oh, like, do you have an aunt before, And they're like, well, my aunt passed. I'm like, okay, that's so great. Do you smell cinnamon? And it'll be like, oh, that was their perfume, It's stuff like that it just does not, I shouldn't know. So that's kind of how it is. How I can, like, know, okay, I'm not crazy. Like, this is getting confirmed by other people. Oh, this is big. I have a question. Can people feel a spirit touching you? Because I got freaked out a few weeks ago because when I was in bed, I had a strong feeling something was behind me. I hate that feeling. That feeling is often correct. Then for 10 minutes, felt something stroking my head. Oh, that's uncomfortable. But when I looked back, nothing was there and it stopped. And then the light switch outside my door sounded like it was being turned on and off, but I couldn't see the light turn on and off under the door, something trying to make contact. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am? You look like a man, but who knows nowadays? Yes. Person. I would say, yeah, a spirit can touch you. I myself have been scratched and poked before. King has actually been poked before. I think I've shared this story in another paranormal video. I keep hearing stuff. This is... King and I were once sleeping in the bed, and he had his back turned to the wall. To the wall. I want to emphasize he was to the wall. And he felt something poke his back, and he turned around and freaked out, and he thought it was me, of course, because I'm the only one. I was dead asleep on the complete other side of the bed because we have a king-size bed, so it's fucking huge. And he woke me up and was freaking out. He was like, something just touched me, and I'm like, okay, what do you want me to do? I was like, I don't know how to help you. So I cleansed and I tried to, like, remove whatever I could, and I didn't really feel anything, so I think it was potentially an accident, honestly. They were probably just like, what is it? Ooh, whoops, and then, went away. But, so, yes, things can touch you. I would say something is trying to make contact. That is up to you whether or not you want to pursue that contact. If you feel up for it, if you have these abilities to be able to do it, that's great. If you can't do it safely, blissful ignorance also works. How can I start? I think if I know I can see my nanny and I see shadow run past sometimes. this is a question that I screenshotted for the main reason that I want to take this moment to talk about mimics, tricksters, spirits. These are things that can imitate your loved ones to a T. They are very good. They pay attention. If you say some little fact about your nanny, they'll remember it. They're very, very good. I myself have been tricked before, and it hurts to realize that the thing that you were talking to is not the person you were talking to. I actually, the video, by the time this comes out, I'll probably have posted it. It's a very vulnerable video, so I've been hesitating for a bit, but I will have posted my own trickster experience, and it sucks. In order to kind of show that it might not be that, you can do something called vetting, which is you ask a question, you try to get an answer. Vague answers are not ideal. What you want is a very specific question that only that person or you and that person would know. Now, the thing with this is that you cannot say the answer out loud, and you cannot tell it if it got it right or wrong, because it will learn and it will try it again. But better this time. How do I know this? It happened to me. I made these mistakes. I am now teaching you to not do that. Do not say the answers out loud. They will learn, they will listen, they are very good at what they do. That is my forewarning of that question. It's how I start, I feel like I've explained it enough, but I wanted to just take that time to explain the nanny portion. That's what really stuck out at me. Question, how long did it take you to gain that ability again to the level you are currently at? 6 or 7 years, maybe? So to give a very rough timeline, right? I would say from childhood to teen, I was able to see. From teen, I want to say even until like 1920, I was able to hear, but I was like the most recoiled from this world that I could possibly be. And then when I moved out, with my husband, it started coming back. And from that moment it started coming back, I told myself, okay, well, I only made a promise to remove it as long as I wasn't okay. I'm okay now. I made a promise, let's get it back. And through much work, I would say about almost 7, actually no, more like 7 or 8 years, because I'm 27 now, and that was like 1920. So yeah, 7, 8 years to hear now. It takes a long time. It does not happen overnight. I would love to be able to hear and see them, but I feel like I'd get scared during the night and would never want to do it again. And unfortunately, that is why you will not be able to do it. Now, while I understand that fear is a very normal part of this, wanting to never do it again instantly and already having that preconception, is that the right word? That if I see something, I'm never going to want to do it again if it's nighttime, you're blocking yourself from that. And reasonably so, right? I get it 100%. I see things all the time. I understand. It's frightening. You don't always want to see it, but you do. So in this case, I would say you have a blocker already. It's going to be very hard for you if you do actually want to see it. You would need to take that blocker to go away. I was wondering, is there a way to be able to see things without being born with it? I don't know. Maybe. I feel like I answered that earlier. Question, can you see in video or video calls? I am working on it. I feel like because we are in such an advanced technology now and we are in such a digital world that I've kind of needed to adapt my abilities to this digital world. So far, I can really feel vibes. I have been able to start seeing things. It makes it very hard now, though, to watch ghost hunting videos because I apparently can't tune in and out when I'm watching a video. So that's a little bump in the road that I did not expect. But I'm training myself, too. When I am watching a video and I feel something, I try to hone in on it again and force my brain to wrap around it. And same thing, I actually made a video recently where my friend was on FaceTime with me and she was showing me her apartment like outside, and there was like this play structure thing and there was a hole. And I saw a person in the hole, and I told her about that, and apparently there was, unfortunately, a homeless man that used to live there and used to stay in there, and he stopped showing up for a while, and I think we figured out why. I couldn't confirm if it was him, because I'd never seen him before, but I saw that through a FaceTime call, so I'm gonna say yes, but I'm working on it to make it stronger and a little bit more controlled. Oh, that was it! So, I hope I answered everybody's question as best as I could. I like doing these paranormal Q&As. I like that it kind of feels like it's different questions each time. I feel like there's way too many questions and not enough answers for some of them sometimes. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope that I could give some clarity to some of you guys and maybe open your minds a little bit to this side of life and death. That's funnier in my head. Okay, I'm gonna end this now. Like, comment, subscribe, and, bye! Okay. It says stop. We gotta go.
Oh, what? Please, I can have some more.
Oi, bruv.
Come here often, sweet cheeks? Smash it.
Wow. I really have to pee.
Here. Okay.